bunch of legal battles happened between you and Gloria, which ultimately ended in you getting sole custody of the twins.
Yeah.
Which you never see a man get sole
Ever.
custody.
Ever.
Never.
Mm-mm.
My man, Kevin Federline is the only other man that I know that I've
D-Wade
interviewed.
got him.
Yeah,
D-Wade,
he got the
D-Wade
kids.
got his kids too. But
Yeah.
it's very rare. And I tell you, man, it's not set up for us to get our kids because it costs me a whole lot of money. You know what I mean?
How much do you spend in legal fees?
Over $1 million.
Whoa. You spend $1 million
Because
in legal costs.
there's other legal costs that I'm currently going through with her, but it's definitely getting.
Right, because
So the situation was where, I was playing still. So we had worked out in mediation that once I retire, that we would go back to 50-50. So I retired in 2017 with the Warriors. I was limited in the Bay. I'm like, all right, I'm going to find a place in LA, and there's a whole bunch of stipulations, or I got to live within a certain amount of fucking miles from her and from the school. So I comply to everything. And then I come back and I'm just like, I'm talking to her like, yo, what's up with the 50-50? I'm back here now. You know I'm a good dad. And she's like, what 50-50? Like, no, we're not doing 50-50. We got to go to court for that. And I'm just like, all right, man. So within the midst of waiting for our court date, an incident happens at their school where, I go to pick the boys up, and it was right before a holiday weekend. It was a 3-day weekend. So I'm there early. I'm always waiting in front of their class, and one of my twins comes out, and we don't know where the other twin is. So I'm just like, well, maybe he went up to the parent pickup, go see if he's up there. So he takes off. I'm walking behind, and he comes back. He's like, yeah, Isaiah's up there, but Mommy's up there too. And I'm like, why is she here? So I go up there, and I talk to her, and by the time I get back, like Carter runs back and she's telling him to get in the car. So Isaiah's already in the car sitting behind Gloria. Carter gets in the middle area in the second row and sits in the thing and shuts his door. So I walk around to the passenger window, open up the door, and I'm just like, what are you doing here? It's my weekend. She's like, no, it's my weekend. I'm taking the kids. I'm like, no, you're not. And then the boys are like, no, Mom, it's Daddy's weekend. It's this whole ordeal. So I pick the boys' iPads up off the front seat. And I'm like, let's go, fellas. So like I said, I'm in the front passenger door. I open up the back door and walk around that door, and Carter jumps out. I reach across the car because Isaiah's sitting behind the driver, which is Gloria, to reach for Isaiah's hand, and all of a sudden she slams, like she puts the car in reverse, and like the car door hits me. I lose contact with Isaiah. I kind of stumble for a second. Isaiah falls back in the seat. I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck you doing?
She tries to drive the car as you're like halfway in the car.
She tries to put the car in reverse and back out. So keep in mind that this is 2 lanes of traffic at 3:00 where other kids are being picked up. Kids are walking, other cars are moving, all this kind of shit.
Crazy.
So I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? And so I reach back in and grab Isaiah. And when I'm helping Isaiah get out this time, she grabs his arm and backs up again. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I kind of yank Isaiah from her. As Isaiah's coming out, the car door hits his arm and he starts crying. And I'm just like, yo, like, what? Like, what are you doing, yo? Like, what the fuck is going on right now? So both boys are crying. I put my arm around both boys, and we're walking back to where I parked, which was by the beginning of the gate. So I guess I find out all this out in court. She hops out the car, shuts her door, and comes flying around the bend and coming at me so I put the boys in the car. I'm about to sit in my car, and I see her coming down the fucking school parking lot, like, fast. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
She tried to hit you.
No, I was in a place where she couldn't hit me, but I just seen her coming fast. So I hop in my car because there's no telling like what she might try to do, or she might try to, I don't know what she's going to do. So I'm just like, oh, she's tripping. So I hop in my car real quick. She parks I reversed in, so I'm nose out, ready to get out, and she slams on the brakes right in front of my car, gets out the car, bangs on the window, like, give me my fucking kids. I'm like, yo, like, it's my weekend. What are you doing right now? So luckily there's no car next to me in this next lane. So obviously I don't open up doors. So I try to like 6-point turn real quick and get around her out of the lane because there's an open lane next to me, and she reverses and nearly hits my car. So I'm just like, yo, like, all right. So I stop. I get out of the car. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, you're not leaving with my kids. So obviously it's a commotion by now. So parents have called the cops. The head of the school and the head security come up to me and ask me what's going on. And I tell them, and luckily I have my paperwork with me. I'm just like, in writing, it's my weekend.
my weekend,
Here it
yeah.
goes. You know what I mean? So they look at it, they go tell her, and she's like, oh, we don't go by that shit no more, and it's my weekend. Like, yo, this girl is tripping. So we wait like 30 minutes. Cops come. Cops get there. They come to me first. Ask me the story. I told them what I just told you. And then I show him the paperwork. He's like, oh, I'm not going to read all this paper. Show me exactly where it says it's your time. Open up the page, show him right where's my time. He's like, wait here. Goes to talk to her. They get into like a verbal altercation. And next thing I know, like I see him walking her back to the cop car to sit her down. So he comes back to me.
Arrested or no?
No, not yet. He comes back to me just like, what? I wanted her to cool off. You know what I mean? She was, she wasn't compliant. She was being disrespectful. I was like, all right. He's like, let me talk to you. So I get outside real quick. And then another officer comes and asks the boys what happened. He tells them. So then the officers talk again and they come back to me and they're just like, this is a felony child endangerment situation. I'm just like, yeah. He's like, well, she's going to get arrested. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. I'm just like, all right, well, when are you going to do it? And I'm just like, well, can you let me leave first so the boys don't see their mom get arrested? So, yeah, so they made her move the car. Me and the boys bounce. She gets arrested. So like I said, keep in mind, we're already going to court in a couple months for my 50-50. So my lawyer's telling me just like, well, if you ever want full custody of your boys, now's the time. And, outside of Gloria and I's beef, like she's always been a really good mom. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I'm to the belief where, the boys need both of us. And they're just like, this is just a great chance. Think about it. And I'm just like, all right, fuck it. I want full custody of the boys then. So we go through this and spend, a bunch of money. And I end up winning full custody of the boys. And that was it.
Right, because when you're going through it with your ex-wife in a situation like this, you actually have to pay her legal bills.
Oh, man, I had to
as
pay
well.
everything. I had to pay everything.
So you guys are fighting out in court, and you're paying both. You're paying her lawyer to try to take your children away from you.
Right, paying her lawyer, my lawyer, and then she keeps taking me back for like bogus low charges, knowing that every time I'm gonna have to pay for the situation. So
Twice.
I end up getting a restraining order against her, just to kind of calm things down, explain to the boys, what's going on, and I'm always very transparent and upfront. And they're to the age now. I think they were 9 at the time, about 9 or 8. They knew what was going on. And it was just a situation where it was unfortunate because although I was glad to have my kids, I saw the impression it left on them. You know what I mean?
Right, because the whole relationship just seems so volatile.
But the one thing we were good at was we were able to shield the kids from it. As rocky as it was, we were able to shield the boys from it. And that was the first time they really had to
actually see it. Yeah.
Yeah.